Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. It is the biggest day in New Jersey thoroughbred racing for the entire 2018 season. It's Haskell Invitational Day, several graded stakes races, and we kick things off with race number 7, the Grade 3 Oceanport Stakes. It's the kickoff of the 20-cent All-Stakes Jersey Shore Pick 6. I think you could play it with your DRF Bets account. A $150 sign-up bonus available when you sign up for a new account, drf.com/bet. Here's the field of turf horses getting set to go a mile and a 16th in race number 7, the Oceanport Stakes. The number 2 Synchrony is 5-2 on the morning line. I'm prepared for Synchrony to go off at much less than 5-2 at post time.
I think there's a scenario where you can flip the 5 and the 2. Maybe that's being a little bit overzealous, but I think you're looking at odds on at the very best here. Synchrony from a class standpoint lays over this field. From a speed figure standpoint, he lays over this field. I have to admit, when I first saw his name here, I said, why is he here? Why is he not running in the Arlington Million? Because he ran in the Arlington Handicap, and I didn't think he ran poorly, all things considered. He got beat by a couple of decent horses, but most notably Divisadero. Synchrony, simply put, I think he's just supposed to win this race, but it does concern me that he's even here.
I believe his last 7 Beyer speed figures would qualify as this race's best last Beyer figure. And in the Arlington Handicap, I wonder if Joe Bravo moved a little bit too soon. There wasn't a lot of pace, and he made this big 4-wide sweeping move into the turn, and then Synchrony flattened out just a little bit. He's got good tactical speed. I mean, listen, he is simply way the horse to beat in this spot. But when we take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, an intriguing name pops out, and that's the number 4 Mo Maverick, Matt. And Mo Maverick last time out in the Kingston Stakes for New York breds was kind of part of an electric pace, so I'm not going to fault him for finishing well back and beaten 13 lengths. His race 2 starts back pressing a pace resulted in a 91 Beyer speed figure, and as a third-time 4-year-old, maybe this horse has some improvement. If Synchrony bombs, perhaps this horse can take you wire to wire.
It's also nice to know that he's handled that turf down in Oceanport in the past, that he's 1 for 1 at this configuration. I think there's a scenario where if he does get out there and the pace isn't too fast, I mean, he's certainly one that can get brave out there. I kind of fell back to this with all the other horses in here outside of Synchrony. They need to run so much faster than they have yet, really, with the exception of a couple of them. They have, but it was a long time ago. They need to run so much faster than they have been recently that I just think it's going to be very, very difficult unless you don't get Synchrony's A or B game. If he really stubs his toe, then all of a sudden everybody's in play.
Interested in your thoughts on the 3 Irish Straight. This is truly a horse for course for trainer Graham Motion. He has come back as a 6-year-old with 2 rock-solid efforts, including a win over 2 next out winners in the Dan Horn Handicap for Jersey breds. But he was 1-2 that day and had a gigantic lead in the stretch, and he almost blew it late. And both of his starts this year have resulted in sub-90 Beyer speed figures. Has he lost a little zip off the fastball? Because he gets a good trip stalking Mo Maverick.
At face value, it kind of looks that way, but I suppose the reason that I'm willing to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt is you brought up that you had a couple of next out winners come out of that Dan Horn, and the paired up 89s, they're his first 2 starts here as a 6-year-old, so maybe he can't get back up to the triple-digit number, which, to be fair, if Synchrony runs his race, he's probably going to need something close to a triple-digit in order to compete with him. But if he can get up to a mid-90 from here, and he has that tactical speed, and he sits just off of Mo Maverick, and he can take this thing over, turn him for home, and perhaps Synchrony doesn't have his game together, then all of a sudden Irish Straight I still think is playable. To me, he's an interesting alternative if you're trying to beat the heavy favorite.
Now we have a Graham Motion formulator fact, a positive one for Irish Straight, with third off the layoff runners coming off a win in graded stake turf routes, 25% winners at 269 ROI. Carafa is 9 years old. He's banked $1.1 million in his career. He was second in this race in 2016. He's just one of those horses you just want to stand up and applaud every time he runs. In the Kingston 2 starts back, that was the race with the electric pace. I think Carafa was helped by that pace. Last time out against some solid optional claiming horses, he didn't get that pace situation. But again, we've seen him 3 times now as a 9-year-old, and his buyers have yet to get back to his races from last year, or certainly when he was real good in 2016, 2015, 2014.
Yeah, and look, even with those good buyers that he had last year and most recently, it's been a while between drinks. If I'm looking at it correctly, his last win was in 2016. So, I mean, it's been some time since he's had his picture taken. I think he's an honest horse. He's going to show up with another honest effort. He's run well at Monmouth in the past. The distance isn't an issue for him. To me, though, I still kind of feel like a minor award is his ceiling.
Force the Pass was one of the best 3-year-old turf horses in all of 2015. Winner of the Belmont Derby. He's had a lot of injuries since then that have compromised his career, but he has come back now twice as a 6-year-old to win in the Cliffhanger over this Monmouth course. And last time out in the poker, I thought he got shuffled a little bit late in the backstretch, steadied at the quarter pole, and he was in against some good horses. Oscar Performance, next out 102 Buyer winner Voodoo Song. The very good Force the Pass can easily win this race, but again, like several others, they've come back off layoffs and their buyers are lacking.
Really, that's kind of what it boils down to, and maybe I'm going to get off a little bit too early here. Force the Pass is the kind of horse that I'm just not convinced that he's come back as the same horse that he was prior to that long layoff. He's the one of the shorter prices. I'm just going to be against him. Second
off a long layoff for the one Dover Cliffs, who was beaten a nose and now winners of 2 other then. In his first time for these new connections, he's got some tactical speed. It's a big hike up in class.
Yeah, certainly is. He's the kind of horse, though, early on, I thought he was going to be cut out to be something, and he just never really developed at any point. I do wonder, second off the bench, off of a long layoff, perhaps you get a forward move, but a forward move that still might not be enough to win.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Oceanport Synchrony Way, the horse to beat. Tell me if I'm barking up the wrong tree with the 6, Dr. Mounty, who I'm hoping is one of those late developing Shug McGahee horses. This is a horse, if you throw out his race in the Grade 2 Monmouth behind Money Multiplier and Divisadero, Money Multiplier's favored in one of the big races at Saratoga on Saturday, and you throw out the Tampa Bay Stakes where he actually fell down, he's run okay at all of his starts this year as a 5-year-old. Last time out at Delaware, there was no pace whatsoever. He was trying hard in the stretch, grinded it out to finish 3rd, galloped out okay. If he can get a little bit of pace, and that's kind of a big if, I think Dr. Mounty can come with a run. Maybe he's not good enough to beat Synchrony, but he's one to consider at least underneath an Exotics.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I kind of feel like you're hoping that you're going to get an effort similar to the one that he put forth in the Henry Clark down at Laurel, where he's going to come from a little bit off the pace, come with that run, probably going to be a low to mid 90 buyer. Whether or not that's fast enough to win, we'll find out on Sunday, but I think it at least gives him a puncher's chance in here. I agree with you. There wasn't a lot of pace in that Delaware race, and then 2 starts back in the Monmouth. I'm not convinced that he wants to be that close to the pace. I know he had done that in years prior, but I think he's the kind of horse that you want to give him a little bit of a target and let him run late. You get Flavian Pratt aboard. Look, I think at a price, he's an interesting alternative outside of the logical contender.
Give me numbers, and do you single Synchrony and multis?
To be honest with you, I don't know that I could single him. I would have almost all of my eggs in Synchrony's basket. I'm going 2, 3, 6, and 1 in here. You brought up the fact that he's a bit of a horse for course, and I think he could trip out in here. And I would have a little bit of Dr. Mounty if I was playing multi-race wagers.
I'll go 6, 2, 7, 5, 2, 6. Get most of the weight in any kind of multiple race wagers. That's race number 7, the Grade 3 Oceanport, a race you can play with your new DRF Bets account. Sign up, grab $150 in bonus money at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for race number 7 at Monmouth on Sunday, the Grade 3 Oceanport, 2:56 Eastern. Best of luck.